everyone. NVIDIA just dropped their 2026 earnings, and honestly, the numbers are so insane they don't even make sense anymore. We're talking $215 billion in a single year. Since ChatGPT came out, their data center business has literally grown 13 times over. It's just stupid fast. But here's the kicker. While everyone is still waiting for their Blackwell chips to arrive, Jensen Huang just basically called them old news by announcing the Vera Rubin platform. And then, out of nowhere, they spent $17 billion to license tech from their fastest rival, Grok. Why is the king of AI paying a competitor? Is the AI bubble finally popping, or is NVIDIA becoming a global central bank for compute? Let's break down the 2026 report and see what's actually going on. Before we go deep, let's look at the bottom line. Here's the quick breakdown of the report. Quarterly revenue, $68.1 billion. That's up 73%. Total year, a mind-blowing $215.9 billion. Profit margins, still holding at a massive 75%. And the forecast for next quarter, $78 billion. NVIDIA isn't just growing, they're rewriting the entire scale of what a tech giant can do. Now, let's see who's actually paying for all this. Okay, so $215 billion is a massive number. But the real question for us as investors is this: why are companies like Meta and Google still waiting in line to hand Jensen their cash? It's because for them, an NVIDIA chip isn't an expense, it's a money printer. Look at Meta. They just reported that AI models boosted ad clicks by 3.5% and improved conversions on Instagram. That sounds like a small margin, right? But for a company making over $100 billion in ads, that 3% is worth billions in pure profit. Jensen Huang likes to say, the more you buy, the more you save. And looking at the ROI, he's actually right. Compute has become a new form of capital, but there's a hidden giant in this report that most people missed: networking. While everyone is focused on GPUs, NVIDIA's networking business just exploded, up 263% this year. They're making $11 billion a quarter just on the pipes that connect these chips. NVIDIA isn't just selling the engine, they're building the entire highway system for the AI era. With NVLink and Spectrum X, they've made it almost impossible for a customer to switch to a competitor. Once you're in their ecosystem, you're locked in. So when people talk about an AI bubble, they're looking at the cost. But the big players, they're looking at revenue per watt. Now, let's talk about the Rubin paradox. In a normal world, you don't announce a new product while your current one is still sold out for months. But NVIDIA just did. By announcing the Vera Rubin platform before Blackwell even hit peak sales, Jensen is basically forcing the entire market into a subscription model for progress. He's telling customers, buy less now, but buy from us every single year. And Rubin isn't just a small upgrade. We're talking 10 times the efficiency of Blackwell. This is NVIDIA's answer to the energy crisis. They know data centers are running out of power, so they're making chips that squeeze 10 times more intelligence out of every watt. But wait, there's a missing piece in their armor: inference speed. This explains the massive $17 billion deal with Grok. If you haven't heard of them, Grok makes LPU chips that are incredibly fast at running AI models, not just training them. Why would NVIDIA pay billions to license tech from a rival? Because we're moving from chatbot AI to agentic AI. Think of an AI agent as a digital employee that needs to think and act in real time. Training a model is one thing, but running it millions of times a second for agents requires ultra-low latency. By licensing Grok's tech and integrating it into the Rubin platform, NVIDIA is attempting to own the entire life cycle of AI. From the moment a model is born to the millisecond it makes a decision. This is the ultimate checkmate move. They are neutralizing the only threat to their dominance before it even becomes a problem. But with all this growth, there's a wall they are about to hit. And it's not a financial wall, it's a physical one. So if we're hitting a physical wall with power and resources, how does NVIDIA keep growing? The answer is a new type of customer that doesn't care about quarterly budgets in the same way companies do. I'm talking about sovereign AI. Nations like Singapore, France, and Canada have realized that AI infrastructure is now a matter of national security, just like energy or the internet. In 2026, this sovereign segment brought in over $30 billion for NVIDIA. That's a 3 times jump in just 1 year. Why? Because countries are building national AI factories to ensure their own economic sovereignty. For NVIDIA, this is the ultimate safety net, a massive source of demand that is completely decoupled from the tech business cycle. But let's go back to that physical wall, the energy crisis. Critics say we're running out of electricity to power these chips, but here's the genius of NVIDIA's strategy. In a world where power is limited, efficiency becomes the only currency that matters. If a data center is capped at, say, 100 megawatts, the operator has to choose the chip that generates the most revenue per watt. That's why the Vera Rubin platform is so critical. By being 10 times more efficient, it allows customers to squeeze 10 times more intelligence out of the same power bill. Jensen Huang is literally turning the energy crisis into a competitive advantage. If power is scarce, you have to buy NVIDIA because you can't afford the energy tax of using slower, less efficient chips from competitors. So we aren't just looking at a tech company anymore. We're looking at the entity that controls the efficiency of the entire global economy. This leads us to the final and perhaps most important question of the 2026 report. If compute is the new oil and NVIDIA is the only one who can refine it efficiently, who actually controls the printing press of the future? Let's talk about the compute as currency finale. So where does this leave us? After looking at these numbers, it's clear NVIDIA is no longer a chip company. It has become the central bank of the AI era. In the 20th century, the global economy ran on oil. In the 21st, it runs on compute. And right now, Jensen Huang is the only one with the printing press. When you look at that $78 billion guidance for next quarter, you realize we aren't in a bubble in the traditional sense. Bubbles are built on hope. This is built on cash flow. NVIDIA's chips are becoming a medium of exchange. If you have the compute, you have the power to create, to automate, and to dominate your market. If you don't, you're paying an inefficiency tax to those who do. But there is a catch. If one company controls the money supply of the new economy, we have to ask, what are the geopolitical stakes? When countries like Singapore buy $30 billion worth of sovereign AI, they aren't just buying hardware. They are buying a seat at the table of the future. The verdict, at a 75% margin and nearly $80 billion in quarterly revenue, NVIDIA isn't expensive. It's essential infrastructure. But the real alpha isn't in the stock price anymore. It's in understanding that we've shifted from the information age to the inference age. So here's my question for you. If compute is the new global currency, who do you think should control the printing press? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.